In a bustling town, a hard-working merchant supported his family by selling salt. He had 2 sons. One was outgoing and confident, while the other, his elder son, was shy and hesitant. People often mistook his reserved nature for foolishness, taking advantage of his innocence. Despite this, he never complained. His father, however, saw his shyness as a weakness. Frustrated by his son's timid behavior, he often scolded him, which only worsened the boy's self-esteem. His lack of confidence affected his education, and during exams, fear paralyzed him. Eventually, as a young man, he joined his father's business, but his nervousness led to frequent mistakes, further disappointing his father. One fateful day, while the merchant was away, cunning men arrived at the shop, falsely claiming, "Your father sent us to collect all the salt sacks for the city." The young man hesitated, but, unable to question them, let them take everything. When his father returned to an empty shop, his anger erupted. "You fool! You've ruined me! Get out and never return!" Devastated, humiliated, and feeling utterly worthless, the young man wandered to the riverbank. Overwhelmed by shame, he thought, "There's no point in living anymore. I am a failure." Just as he was about to jump, a passing disciple saw him and pulled him back. "Why did you save me?" the young man shouted. "My life is useless. I fail at everything." The disciple responded gently, "Life is given only once. If you are alive, you can overcome failure and find success. But if you give up, you'll never know what you were truly capable of." The young man sighed. "I am shy and weak. My father hates me. I have no education. Does someone like me even deserve to live?" Smiling, the disciple said, "My teacher can answer that question. Come with me." Reluctantly, the young man followed him to a serene ashram. Under a great tree sat a wise saint in deep meditation. As soon as the young man saw him, he broke down in tears. The saint asked, "Why are you crying, my child?" The young man replied, "You are my last hope. If you cannot help me, I will end my life." After listening carefully, the saint said, "I have a solution, but first you must follow my instructions for 3 days. If you complete my tasks, your life will change." Desperate for hope, the young man agreed. On the first day, the saint instructed, "Go and speak to 10 strangers. Ask them about their lives and write down their answers." Though hesitant, the young man obeyed. Some ignored him, others were rude, but he persisted. By evening, he had spoken to 10 people and even made a few new friends. Returning to the saint, he felt a sense of pride he had never known. The saint then asked, "What did you learn from this task?" The young man thought for a moment and replied, "I learned that everyone has their own struggles. Some were kinder than I expected, and others were harsher. But in the end, people respond based on how they perceive you." The saint nodded. "Exactly. When you hesitate or act afraid, people treat you as weak. When you speak with confidence, they respect you. This is the first step to change." On the second day, the saint said, "Teach 10 young students about the importance of water." Shocked, the young man protested, "I am uneducated. How can I teach?" The saint smiled. "They don't know that. Just share what you already know." Nervously, he stood before the students, his hands trembling. He explained 5 simple uses of water and quickly ran away. When he returned, he admitted, "I was terrified, but I did it." The saint encouraged him to try again. This time, he spoke with more confidence. By the end of the lesson, he realized his fear was fading. "Did you notice something?" the saint asked. The young man replied, "Yes. At first, I was scared, But once I started speaking, I felt more comfortable. The children listened to me, and I didn't feel useless anymore." The saint smiled. "That is the second lesson. You are only as weak as you believe yourself to be." On the third day, the saint gave him the most difficult task. "Go to your father and ask for his forgiveness." The young man panicked. "No, he will never forgive me." The saint firmly replied, "If you refuse, I cannot give you the final solution." Summoning all his courage, the young man returned home. He apologized to his father, promising to prove his worth. Seeing the change in his son, the merchant forgave him and gave him another chance in the business. When the young man returned to the saint, he asked, "Now, tell me the secret to success." The saint smiled. "You have already discovered it. Your biggest enemy was not your shyness, it was your fear. People see you as you present yourself. Even if you feel weak, act confident and no one will doubt you. True strength comes from believing in yourself." With tears of gratitude, the young man bowed. "I understand now. I will not let fear control my life anymore." Years later, that same young man became a respected businessman, known for his wisdom and confidence. He helped others who struggled with self-doubt, teaching them the lessons he had learned. One day, a young boy, much like his former self, approached him and said, "Sir, I am shy and afraid of talking to people. What should I do?" The businessman smiled and replied, "The first step is the hardest, but each time you face your fear, it loses its power over you. You must start small. Talk to one new person every day. Learn from them. Teach someone something. Each time you do, you grow." The boy asked, "But what if I fail?" The businessman laughed. "Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of learning. I failed many times, but I never stopped moving forward." Confidence is not something we are born with. It is something we build. Even the shyest person can become strong if they choose to believe in themselves. Our greatest limitations exist only in our minds. Fear and self-doubt can hold us back, but courage and persistence can change everything. Do you ever feel like your fears are holding you back? What if the only thing standing between you and success is your own belief in yourself? The young man thought he was destined to fail, but by facing his fears, he transformed his life. Confidence grows when we step beyond our comfort zones. The world sees us the way we choose to present ourselves. Believe in yourself. Take small steps forward, and you will find strength you never knew you had.